requested school fees. Do we have the required in here, Kevin?
Yes, I think that's the back.
Yeah, the requested school fees are those that are tied to the curriculum, above and beyond the curriculum. And then we have the activity costs, which
Oh, I didn't have the other one.
The first 3 pages are the ones
outside
that
the
are,
regular school.
the first 3 pages are the ones that are fees for a class of course, which are part of the grade or credit. And then the last 3 pages are those that are costs for activities that are outside the regular school day.
And so the difference, when we were talking to the people at the state, between the two, with requested fees, if a child or a family does not have the money to pay for that activity, we have waivers that we can provide for those students. We can actually pay for those student benefits associated with the course, with the grade of the school. With extracurricular activities, that's not the case. A lot of those are direct costs to performing that activity. However, a lot of our organizations do work that if there are families who would have difficulty paying that, they work for ways to help those families provide so that they can participate in those activities.
Mr. Manuel, did you find out why the PTA membership was not listed?
Yeah.
Well, I guess we looked at other communications or documents put together by the other municipals. We did not see this included. And I guess we saw that as not a true student fee, but more of an option for the family.
And I guess when I was looking at, it looked like there were some different orchestra fees between band and choir, between like Riverdale and Houston Middle.
Yes, so one of the things that we talked about was the difference between schools and what those groups are choosing to do. So if they choose to participate in this competition, or they want to buy this type of shirt, or they want to travel to different destinations, that's a lot of differences that you see between the school programs.
And I have another question. The PE fee, like at Houston Middle, they have the Polar Heart band strap. Are they doing that at Riverdale?
I don't believe so, but you'd have to ask Mr. Bond. And the Polar Heart is with that polar loop where you can actually see their heart rates up on the screen and see whether they're actually hitting their maximum rate during a athletic event.
I had one other question about the requested student fees tied to curriculum.
Yes.
Do these funds flow through the school accounts? Are those made to the schools? And then when are they collected? Is this something that has to be done the first week of school? Or is it staggered or?
So on the requested fees, I believe all of those go through the school accounts.
Okay.
And then most are front-loaded, so most of them are at the beginning of the school year when they're asking for these fees. Now with the orchestra and band, I'm not sure how they split those up. Ms. Diaz or Mr. Bond may be able to answer you those. They may pay some of those in part depending on if they're traveling. I know there were times when I was principal of Houston Middle School that they wouldn't ask for all that funding up front to be in the orchestra. So a lot of times you'd have some that were for the clothing at first, and then when they were getting close to competition, they would take fees to travel. Don't want to assume that that's the case, but
We don't collect them all at once.
they don't collect them all at once.
So are these fees set by the coaches of the particular organization
For the
for the required fees, not the?
no, these fees are set by, now there are choices that coaches make that influence these fees, but they are set by the SSOs, the school support organizations. So an example, we talked about choosing to travel to North Carolina for the baseball team. That's a coach's choice, but he works with the booster president to discuss is that something that they want to do. So I guess the scheduling of the games would be a coach's decision, but cost, hotels they stay at, what type of transportation they're gonna take. A lot of those things are determined by the booster organization.
So if this is the fee that we set as a board, they can't charge any more than this fee, is that right?
They should not be until we come back to the board, so. if-
Right, we could amend the fee,
Yes.
but we would have to amend it more than we charge.
That's correct. The goal for this is to have everything transparent for parents so that they can say, this is what it costs to do soccer, this is what it costs to do choir, this is what it costs to take an AP class. So they should know all their fees up front.
So the reason you'd have a different expense for like boys basketball, girls basketball, just depends on which tournaments they go to.
How much they choose to travel, how far they choose to travel.
And then you mentioned baseball. Now, I didn't see baseball on this list. Did I just miss it? Or is there a fee for baseball?
I believe Coach Becker was under the impression that
Oh,
we
that's
couldn't
right,
get an
that's correct.
accurate.
Yes, we are gonna bring, because their boosters haven't met yet to really decide what's for the upcoming season, we're gonna have to come back with, when we get ready for the winter fees for those organizations that haven't even set their teams yet.
Gotcha.
They
Because
have-
tennis was another one that I
Right.
didn't see on here.
Spring sports.
Track and field wasn't, I didn't see on
So
there.
those are your second semester sports. So we'll do a second, thank you, Mr. Chair, we'll do a second amendment to this to talk about the cost of those activities.
And I don't know if I'm not seeing it. So choir has on here, when associated with choir, but then they travel to, say, they're going to Italy this spring. Are those fees on here?
This is update.
Or is that just?
Yeah, any fee that is not on here, that we will be coming before you to say this group wants to travel to this location, they want to charge an additional fee. So if it's not included here, it's not approved at this time.
Okay, thank you.
So I guess we need to look at updating this document every semester.
Yes.
You're on.
One question I had for the board, if you look at all of these fees, I really focused more on the athletic team booster club fees. They all kind of range between $200 to $700 range. There's kind of one notable difference on here, and that's cheers and pom, which is close to $5,000. And I don't have a child that goes to cheer or pom. That seems like a lot of money to ask the parent to pay for a child to do a school-sponsored activity. Curious as to what the board thinks.
I'll be glad to share
Yeah.
because,
You find it
for
interesting?
better or for worse, I had a child who chose to do this for 7 years. The majority of this cost is directly related to their nationals competition in Florida. And so you're talking about plane tickets for the entire team, for a child to go to Orlando. And then the Disney package itself is very expensive. When you talk about, I think it's $750, or it used to be, I just know. It used to be $750 per person in a room of 4. So there were a lot of expenses associated with just that cheer nationals competition. And any decision, if we didn't have that much money and you couldn't do it, they would not be traveling to Orlando to compete in nationals.
Can I just say something too? On those required fees, we put that down as a cost, but that cost is defrayed by fundraising efforts. So that may or may not necessarily be what the parent is responsible for paying. That was just a cost that was associated with what that program was. But all through this time, they're gonna be doing, countless fundraising. So that parent may only end up paying half of that amount or a quarter of that amount, depending on how successful their fundraising efforts are.
So I know like orchestra goes on trips, the same kind of trips you're talking about. I think that they went to New York, and they went to, so those would then now have to be approved by the board before that happens, is that kind of the plan?
If there's going to be a fee charge, yes.
Yeah, I realize that it has long been the case that cheer and pom has cost this much money. It's just kind of interesting when you look at all of the fees of all the different sports, that's like 10 times what another sport costs.
And when I monopoly that they have on this competition. I echo your sentiment, but I think the choice is either that's what they're charging us, or not participating in that group.
Well, I think some of these fees also go to the coaches.
Right, and that
They have
is one too.
choreographers,
They do have
and they have
judges,
they have-
choreographers.
And they have coaches at each of their practices that,
And Palm is more expensive too, because I think they have two uniforms that they do. They do a hip hop uniform, and they do a standard Palmer team uniform too. And those are uniforms that the girls keep.
Yeah, I don't have a good answer, I just think it's, to me, it's really concerning that you're required to spend that much money to do an activity like that. I know with our parents I talk to, these kids don't do that activity because of the cost. And I don't know if there's anything we can do, because I know once you start subsidizing one activity, then there are all these other activities that say, well, we want substitutes too. And I don't know, it strikes me that's a really high number.
they do have eighth grade football cheer that's a more reasonable amount. I mean, I'm just.
Yeah,
There's basketball,
and then
cheer,
there's
there are other cheer options.
And then
yes.
there's basketball cheer at the high school, which is, those two groups do not go to national competitions. So the costs are not,
So I think the choice is, do you want to do the competitive or non-competitive cheer? And I think they're also doing a hybrid this year where it's stunting.
Black and silver team.
Yes, it's a stunting group, so.
any other questions on
Just
fees?
have one more. So who kind of manages to make sure that these fees are not, it's not gonna be more than what's on here? Is that just,
So one of
this
the,
list will be published and?
right, so we're gonna publish the list, and one of the things that the principals do is they are really, along with their sponsors for the groups, the ones who are responsible for these school support organizations. So not only do the school support organizations have to, they're requested to turn in bank statements to them, they also have fundraiser analyses that they have to do, and they also have to get approval for all the fundraisers that they're gonna do through the school administration. So when we talk about the managers are really here, sitting here, that's why we asked the principals to be here, to really understand their role. Thanks.
Any other questions on student fees? Do I have a motion to approve the school fees and activity costs for the 2016-17 school year?
So moved. Second.
Any more discussion? Roll call?
Ms. Parker?
Yes.
Mr. Dida?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Fisher?
Yes.
Thank you.
Motion is passed. Next on our agenda is the preliminary June 30th, 2016 financial report. Mr. Jones?
I guess we can start first with your balance sheet as of June 30, 2016. Again, these are preliminary financial statements. We will keep the books open through right until the end of August, picking up activity accruals that belong into last fiscal year. School operating fund, assets totaling approximately $12.6 million. Liabilities and fund balance in the same amount. To highlight a couple things, cash and investments are right at $11 million. Accounts receivable a little over $1 million. And what that is basically are just timing differentials for sales and property taxes that are collected in July and August. Those are accrued into last fiscal year. The amount due from the city at $178, that's the maintenance of effort payment that came in July. Accounts payable, accrued expenses. Accrued expenses are basically the July payroll that's accrued into this fiscal year. We have the loan to the city of Germantown right at $870,000.
For computers.
For the computers, that is for the 800 computers purchased through that. Any questions on school operating? We're looking at increase or change in fund balance right at $3 million. Total ending fund balance right at $8.3 million. And some of those funds, we have some outstanding purchase orders of June 30, 2016. Some of those will be reserved as part of our fund balance and carried forward into FY17. I've listed a few of those items down below. And so what will happen is, like for textbooks, some of those were back ordered. So the purchase order will roll forward into FY17, and our budget will be amended by that amount, and the expenditure will be recorded in FY17. Federal projects, total assets and liabilities right at $34,000. Cafeteria fund, projected net loss of around $210 plus an additional accrual of $28,000, so $238,000 is the projected net loss for last fiscal year.
How much was that?
238. Capital projects, we received our 15-16 allocation from the county commission right on June 30, so that's the majority of our cash balance. So we will be recording our liabilities for any construction costs and the amounts that are due to architects or to contractors as of June 30, 2016. We will also record the corresponding receivable due from the city for the bond proceeds by the city. I'll be meeting with the city later on this week, and we will be reconciling our accounting records. So there will be probably some entries recorded for our purchase orders outstanding relate to the construction contract for Riverdale. Health insurance, assets right at $2 million. Liabilities of $254,000, ending fund balance of $1.7 million. And got a couple estimates in here. The due from other funds, $180,000. Those are amounts due from the OPEB trust fund for health insurance claims paid for retirees. So we should get that information tomorrow. And we'll show up that number. Accrued expenses, $250,000. That is our estimated incurred but not reported claims. And those are claims that are being paid in July and August for last fiscal year. OPEB trust, $1.4 million in assets, and then we're showing a $180,000 obligation to the health insurance fund for the retirees.
Good job, thank you.
Sure. So, good strong year. Great financial performance, and I think your budget versus actual statements will show the same.
Thank you.
The ILA and alternative school agreements that we have with Collierville, have they made payments on those
Yes,
yet?
those have been paid.
Do you have those numbers? Where are they? And if you don't know it today, you can get back, I was just curious.
Yes, it was $150,000 for the alternative education program.
Okay.
I think we billed maybe another $1,600 more.
For over
About
that.
For overages, and that's all you're gonna pay.
Any other questions for Mr. to new business?
Sure. I know Mr. Deli sent something out today. But there's a song, 27:17. As iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. And so Mark, I just want to tell you thank you. You made me sharp. You've challenged all of us on this board. We are in the position we are today because of your efforts. I know y'all are grassroots where they were meeting in people's dens and planning a vision for this district. So just from me, I just want to tell you thank you for all the hours that you spent helping this district get off the ground. And we put something
Well, Mark, why don't you come on, we're not
together
really in
for
our
you.
city hall where we can properly have you
So
come
for
up.
those of you who don't know, I've submitted my resignation to the board, which is very bittersweet. I accepted a job, which is a good professional opportunity to be the chief legal officer of Vera Bradley, but it's going to require us to move up north to Indiana. So it's tough because for 12 years, Germantown has been my home, and we're going to miss the community greatly. I've enjoyed my time on the board, and so I'll miss all of you, and I'm proud of what we're able to accomplish. So I wish everyone the best of luck, and I know we're going to be successful.
So we put together a
Yes.
collage of some of Mark's
Well, thank
moments
you.
in Germantown Municipal Schools.
That's great. Thank you so much.
Little goodie bag to remember us.
Oh, thank you.
But
I
we want to thank
appreciate
Mr. July, as he said, and Mr. Manuel said, he's been with us since the beginning, and even before we were formed as a school district. He's been with us from the beginning when we hired a superintendent, when we opened our doors, and he's been an asset to our board and our community. And thank you on behalf of the board, the district office, and our superintendent.
Well, thank you all.
Is there any other new business? I think this is the fastest meeting we've had. Okay, I guess we're adjourned, and it is 6:21.
My goodness.
Thank you, everybody, for coming.